This guy's going to be dancing like LeBron come trade deadline. I'm talking about Jae Crowder. Number 99, $10 million. Final year of his contract. He can be an asset to any team out there, 100%. And at the end of the day, this guy can hit corner threes, defend multiple positions, and just an all-round strong player. And that's good if you want to go up against, let's just say, a guy like Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, right? So that's what Milwaukee wants him. Milwaukee is thinking about a deep playoff run. And that's why they brought in PJ Tucker, which, they won a title. And now they want a Jae Crowder for toughness. And Milwaukee is not the only team out there that wants him. They made a proposal, yeah, I get it. But Milwaukee is not the only team out there. Now, Woj has been begging me to come on Jaggy Sports to say who that other team is. So I'll just let him talk for a second. You guys can hear him.
Jae Crowder in Phoenix, who has been away from the Suns all season long, despite their injuries and the obvious need to have him. He did not like the idea of coming off the bench this season and has stayed separated from the Suns. But both Milwaukee and Miami are among a number of teams, still tracking a possible deal with Phoenix. And I think you look at Milwaukee in particular. They brought in PJ Tucker 2 years ago in a trade that helped them win a title. Jae Crowder, no player in the last 3 years has played more playoff games than Jae Crowder on the finals run with Miami in the bubble than the last 2 seasons in Phoenix. And certainly he's the kind of tough physical forward that really fits the identity of both the Bucks and Miami.
Thanks, Woj. So Miami offered Duncan Robinson, Caleb Martin. That's not going to do the job. Now let's move on to Johnny C. Johnny C is always in the mix. Powerhouse, 6'9", 225, and making $23 million a year. Has a couple years left on his contract. Becomes a free agent 25, 26, and freakishly athletic. Offensive powerhouse, but not so good on defense. Right? And what I don't understand is Utah is in the mix and Rockets are in the mix. These are two teams that want to tank, right? So I just don't understand that at all. But, there is other teams out there. Now, he's been begging me to come and talk about who the other team is. And you guys might have a clue on who this other team is, who can fill the void and make a deep run in the playoffs. So I'll let him talk. Bobby Marks, he's going to talk about Johnny C.
What do you think of this trade? The Heat get John Collins, and the Hawks get sort of a potpourri of developmental players: Duncan Robinson, Nikola Jovic, Omer Yurtseven, and Haywood Highsmith. What do you think?
How about if you throw in this year's first-round pick into that deal? They're 2023, which is really the only first they can trade right now because they owe one to Oklahoma City in 2025. Now, if you add that sweetener to it, I think that might perk the Hawks' ears as far as getting a deal done. Remember, this is a team that needs some depth in Atlanta. You add some players there. That Duncan Robinson contract, I don't love, but I probably like it a little bit better than that what's owed to John Collins. And I think if you're Miami and you know this Heat team well, you put him and Bam Adebayo together. You put Jimmy Butler back to small forward, can rest his body here. I think we would be talking about this team like we're talking about Boston and Milwaukee right up there in the Eastern Conference.
All right, well, you got to give me back Omer Yurtseven then. I'll keep that developmental pick, throw in next year's first-round pick, and that's a deal. So, yeah, I think the Heat would be right back at it, and I do think the Heat would do more to help John Collins develop and take that next step because he's been kind of stagnant for a couple of years now.
So there you have it. These guys are talking about Miami too. So Miami is a team that obviously clearly needs help in the power forward position, and someone like Jae Crowder or this guy, Johnny C, right? If they can get one of these guys, they are right in the thick of things, as what they just said. But to say they're right up there with Boston and Milwaukee, that's a bit of a stretch. Anyway, so regardless, that's who is interested in these guys, and Miami is likely to pull off a deal. If there's one person I know, it's Pat Riley. You don't want to mess with Pat Riley when it comes to deals. He is not afraid of pulling the trigger. He will do whatever it takes to win for his organization. And Miami is legit, right? They know how to win. Excellent coach, Jimmy B and Adebayo. These guys are legit. So one of these guys is going to get it. All those other teams out there, Utah and the Rockets, I don't buy that. Maybe Milwaukee might get Jae Crowder, but I'm not sure, right? So for Utah to get him, they'd have to move a couple of their guys, and you could tell a lot of them are player options. Then for Miami, you can see that they got a lot of money tied up as well. Obviously, you have Milwaukee. Basically, Brook Lopez is on the outs with his back and whatnot. George Hill's gone, guaranteed. Ibaka's gone. And Atlanta has to consider the fact that Bogdanovich is going to opt out of his contract. So that's about it for that. And obviously, that doesn't play well when it comes to free agency, because if you're going to offer Bogdanovich more money, you got to get rid of somebody, or you got to shut off some money, or you pay deep luxury tax. But no, these guys are legit. Jae Crowder and Johnny C. So one of these guys, or both of these guys, might get traded. As you can see, Johnny C agrees. Give me the wink and the gun, and it's time for Jaggy Sports. Hey, what's up, guys? Jag from Jaggy Sports here. Let's get right into it. Johnny C. John Collins. Gotta feel bad for this guy, Ray. Every freaking year, I always hear this guy's name pop up. Atlanta just throws him into the lion's den and then takes him right out. Feel bad for this guy, right? Hopefully he gets traded and doesn't have to put up with any of this kind of nonsense. Every year whether it be the off season, whether it be the trade deadline, every freaking year, it's just John Collins this, John Collins that. I get it. Atlanta doesn't want him. If you don't want him, just get the trade done, man. Damn. I'm pretty sure every single one of them, the trade rumors is likely, it's a good trade, but for some reason, Atlanta always backs down, right? But what I'm hearing now is that the price of this trade, according to Atlanta, is significantly decreased, right? They just want a young player in return. There's no mandate on draft pick, which leads me to Jae Crowder. Now, Jae Crowder is making $10.5 million a year. He hasn't played. He's got 6 months left. Oh, today's February 1st, or sorry, February 2nd. But he's got 6 months left, possibly, right? Could be less, depends on how far he goes into the season. And at the end of the day, he does not want to play for Phoenix. I get that. And what I'm hearing about Jae Crowder is Milwaukee. Now, what I'm hearing about John Collins, the latest, is Utah, which I don't understand, right? Because Utah, they're not going anywhere anytime soon, unless they get a unbelievable draft pick. I honestly thought they were going to tank, but they're doing fairly well. So you never know. Utah could actually do some damage if they get the right pieces. They most likely will be sellers, except for Lauri Markkanen and Kessler Edwards. Everybody's on the table. So to me, getting John Collins, I don't understand that, but that's just me, right? So what I'm hearing is Utah for John Collins and Milwaukee for Jae Crowder. Now, Milwaukee desperately needs to compete with big guys, as in Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. So you need somebody to defend that, and that's where Jae Crowder comes in, right? So the asking price for Jae Crowder, I'm pretty sure, is George Hill and two other guys, I forget their names, and maybe a second-round pick, or if you throw in Grayson Allen, because Milwaukee has slid in the last 2 months because Chris Middleton is not himself. He's come back from injury, and it's just Milwaukee's not as dominant as they once were, like 2 years ago, right? Maybe even last year. But at the end of the day, if this Milwaukee trade doesn't go down, I could see there was a rumor back in the day, like maybe a couple weeks ago, John Collins for Jae Crowder. I don't know if that's still on the table, but at the end of the day, those are two prime trade targets that could just switch teams. That's what I'm hearing is Milwaukee wants Jae Crowder, Utah wants John Collins. But John Collins for Jae Crowder could happen too. Let me know what your thoughts are. Tell me if you think this is a good trade. But tell me also if Milwaukee for Jae Crowder is even a better trade, because that's what I'm hearing, right? Milwaukee wants Jae Crowder bad. And John Collins, latest I heard was Utah. But you never know. It could just switch up. Right now, nothing's happening, but we're just about a week away from the trade deadline, so anything can happen. Let me know what your thoughts are. Leave a comment in the comment section. Of course, this is Jag from Jaggy Sports.